network tonight. Premier League clubs who are not in Europe are in it. Without doubt, though, game of the round is tomorrow evening, live on Talksport. Grimsby Town of League Two will welcome Manchester United at Blundell Park. Grimsby having a great start to the season, unbeaten in their first 5 games, sitting 4th in that league. So we thought we'd get some Grimsby insight into this fantastic looking tie. Let's say a very good morning to the Grimsby Town manager, David Artell. Morning, David.
Good morning, David.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
I mean, look, you must have been pleased as punch when this came out in that draw. I know what the fans are wanting, but as a manager, are you hoping that Manchester United play a strong team?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I think it doesn't matter what 11 Ruben Amorim picks, there'll be a strong team. That's the way we're looking at it. I saw them on Sunday at Fulham, and they're obviously improved over the summer. There's no getting away from that fact. And they're already an elite team. They might have gone through a bit of a rough patch in the last few years, but one thing we do know is that they're on the way back. And whatever 11 Ruben picks, then it's going to be an incredibly challenging night for us. But that's why we're here. That's what we want to test ourselves against the best. We've earned our right to this tie by, winning the first round tie. So it's going to be a great occasion for everyone associated with the town, the football club, for the players, the staff. The football club hasn't played Man United for 77 years, so you just never know in a 2-horse race.
I know it was a great encounter. I'm going to ask you, mate. I mean, clearly everybody, fans and players aside, on top of it, we're looking forward to a tremendous fixture. How do you get the balance? I mean, obviously you've got league games either side of it and things like that. How do you get the lads to focus on the game? And clearly the United game, I'd imagine for a lot of them it might be a one in a lifetime opportunity. How do you get the balance of calming them down but at the same time getting right up for it?
There's a couple of things really. One, this is game 7 of 8 this month, and we haven't lost since the draw. We haven't lost all season, but we certainly haven't lost since the draw got made. So that's a huge credit to the players already. And we've not really had time to think about it because we've got a game every 3 days. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound like any of the Premier League managers, but our fixture congestion is pretty heavy as well. We just don't bleat on about it really. But look, the lads have been terrific. The lads have, there's emotion, but there's got to be emotion with motivation. But it's got to be all controlled. We saw last night that Anthony Gordon's emotions might have got a bit better of him, and it ends up costing them the game. Whereas we've got to remain really in control of our emotions, but motivated to do well. We're talking about 11 human beings in red shirts. They're not superheroes. They're extremely good at football, and we respect them. But we don't fear anyone. And I don't want this to sound like sort of fighting talk or anything like that. They're an extremely good team. Mm-hmm. They were outstanding on Sunday. And they've got a world-class coach. It's going to be an extremely tough night for us. But at the same time, we want to give our best shot. We want to put sort of Grimsby Town on the map. And like I said, you just never know. So I don't want to see it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the players either. I don't want to see it as a pinnacle. I want to sort of see it as a progressive, a chance to test themselves, to prepare themselves for greater things in the future. I want them to see it as a platform rather than the pinnacle.
It's amazing, Dave. I'm going to say to you now, I hope memory serves me correctly here, but I'm sure Grimsby knocked Southampton. I was at the game.
It did.
Grimsby knocked Southampton out the cup a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Luton in the same run.
It was absolutely fantastic. And what I remember most about the game actually was the travelling support, the Grimsby lads that came down to Southampton. Boy, did they enjoy themselves. So I would imagine win, lose or draw against United, the fans will enjoy themselves, David.
Yeah, look, it's going to be bouncing, sell out. That cup run was the first time anyone in the history of the FA Cup have beaten 5 teams from higher divisions.
Yeah, that's right.
In consecutive rounds, and we ended up getting walloped by Brighton in the end. But then we got all their data because the owners made such a good impression on Tony Bloom and Paul Barber. So we even got something out of that tie. So we like I say, the fans are magnificent. They've been backing us home and away. You know, we took over 1,000 on Saturday to Accrington. The previous away game this season at Harrogate was a sellout. You know, so they'll back us home and away, and they'll make it. You know, I don't want to sort of replace Stoke in the can they do it on a cold Tuesday wet night in Stoke and replace that with Grimsby, but we've got to make it uncomfortable, not just for Man United tomorrow, but for all our opponents this season. And the crowd play a huge part in that. They're fantastic, the salt of the earth people. They'll tell you, they'll be honest with you, and they have been with me over my nearly 2 years here. But I think the fans understand now we've sort of turned the corner a little bit, and we're heading in the right direction. And this is a reward for them as much as anyone.
Yeah.
Like I said, they've waited a long time for the biggest, or one of the biggest clubs in the world to come into town.
No, it's brilliant. I remember that Southampton game. Remember Gav Holohan sticking away 2 penalties.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
I did the game.
He's a top boy as well, by the way. Look, Dave, you probably get sick of answering questions about this, but I'm going to ask you nevertheless. You must be the only football manager with a degree in forensic science. So was there ever a time when you thought you were going to go off and do what Amelia Fox does in Silent Witness rather than being a football manager?
No. I don't think I should say live on air. I wanted to kill a few players in my time.
Well, surely there's nobody better to do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to test my skills.
Not encouraging that sort of thing, David, of course.
But no, no, look, it was terrific. I went away, sort of night school, afternoons, different, and I've continued to learn all the way through my career. That's one thing I tell the players. They should learn. They should invest more in themselves, in the football. Really learn coaching badges. You know, we've had a couple of lads who even applied to be a referee last year. They didn't get on the course, but it's that will help them become better footballers. Anything like that, even if it's academic learning. We've had lads do psychology degrees while I've been here, so it does help. It opens your mind up to different ways of learning, and you get a different sort of perspective on all sorts of things. And I did that in my career, and I'm sat here now. Like I said, I've been making a decent fist of it so far. So, yeah, it's not something I ever had the opportunity to do. Go and assess dead bodies, but or petty theft or something like that. Take fingerprints. So I won't be able to say whether Ali McCoist is on any police database or not.
I can answer that for you.
Quickly, thanks for having me, David. We better end this conversation rather quickly.
David, before you go, maybe this is a good omen. He said, I've got a text. Good morning, Jeff. Can you please give Mighty Mariner, the Grimsby Town mascot, a shout out? He won the annual mascot race at Epsom Racecourse yesterday, a day that raised over 10 grand for the Children's Trust. So there you go. Mighty Mariners won the mascot race. And maybe you can cause the big upset of the second round. David, look, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for your time, mate, and best of luck.
No problem. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
And I would make the other thing about those cup runs, of course, that you can't ever forget, is Harry Haddock's. Sales of Harry Haddock's must be going through the roof right now.
I promise you, Jeff, it stayed with me for a long time. My Grimsby fans down in Southampton, they were absolutely fantastic. Another fact I didn't know about David: 7 caps for Gibraltar.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Wow. I do know Grimsby, and I do know their fans, and they are passionate. They've been getting, for league games, they've been getting more than 6,000 in League Two. It's a really good
Excellent
effort. And I think